Perfect day for it. I'm in one of Sweden's many thousands of free public wind shelters, or vindwid as they call them here. A Adirondack shelter. I never remember. The Adirondack shelter. I'll put the right word in. I never remember it. But yeah, this is a public camping spot. We've got, this shelter is quite a large one. It will probably sleep about, I don't know, many people. 20? No, that's an exaggeration. At least about a good 10 people could squeeze in here quite nicely. Unfortunately, the snow is coming in a little bit this way, so I'm going to be working in the back, so I might bang my head a few times. So, yeah, tips on how you can keep warm, or how to get a good night's sleep and keep warm. I'm going to go through several tips that can show you how you can keep warm at night, have a good night's sleep, which when you're out camping, especially if you're hiking and you're doing a through hike, a good night's sleep is essential. So stay tuned, and later on in the video I'll show you some lightweight tricks and hacks and how you can upgrade your sleep system so you can get a few more degrees out of your sleeping bag as well. Choosing the right sleeping bag for the conditions you're going out in is essential. You will have all types of sleeping bags. Down sleeping bags are more expensive, and smaller and more compact and lighter. Synthetic sleeping bags also have their places, but I'm not going to go into the pros and cons of those ones today because it's not what this one's really all about. It's about the right rating for the conditions. When you're shopping, or if you are shopping for a sleeping bag, when you come across 4 season sleeping bag, 4 seasons, do this. Ha 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 ha. No, it's impossible. You'll have 25, 35 to 40 degrees Celsius in the summertime, and in the winter time you could have that as a minus figure. So a sleeping bag that's rated to minus 20, for example, is going to keep you very warm at minus 20 degrees. But in the summertime, when there's a 40 degrees Celsius difference minimum, you're going to sweat to death. So pick the right one for the right situation. When looking at the rating, best to ignore the extreme temperature rating, because that's basically a bit of marketing, really. It's designed to make you think that the sleeping bag is a lot better than it really is. Some people say that it's just to stop you from freezing to death, which could be true. So on a sleeping bag you'll have a comfort rating, a limit rating maybe, but look at the 3 figures and take the highest number that they offer as that's my borderline. Sometimes you'll see a sleeping bag rated for men and women. because apparently women prefer a warmer bag to men, but then there are men who sleep cold. Personally, because of my medical condition, I actually put out a heck of a lot of heat, so I actually sleep quite warm. But you know, we all prefer a nice cosy sleeping system, don't we? So anyway, so look at the rating system. I'll show you on my down winter sleeping bag the rating on there, and you can understand an idea of what I'm talking about. When it's time for bed, don't just take the sleeping bag out of the compression bag and jump straight into it. Give it time to loft up. Where are we? Little YouTube fib. This is actually a down sleeping bag as well, but it's the same size as a 10 Celsius synthetic. I just forgot to bring it with me. So, I'll show you what I mean. Some people will say leave it for half an hour, some people leave it for 10 minutes. 15 is usually where I go. So that's the bottom. So 15 minutes in, and still not quite fully lofted. Here we've got some areas that we can, the foot box is still fully locked, is already gone, and up here we've still got a bit to go. So yeah, depending on how cold it is, depending on how much air pressure, etc. Yeah, the main reason you let it loft is the sleeping bag's job is basically to hold in heat and to trap air. It's an insulation bag. So if you jump into it straight out of taking it out of your compression bag, you're not really going to get any benefits from it. So yeah, give it time. This is a mummy sleeping bag, you can tell by the shape, with a hood. This section here is what's called a draft collar, and there's a drawstring that goes all the way around. There's all the way, a drawstring that goes all the way around. When you're in the sleeping bag, pull that tight around your neck, and that'll hold in the air. You can also find drawstrings on the hood as well, so if you are in extreme cold temperatures, you can tighten that up and noose that around your head so you get a bit more protection, obviously, because your head does lose a lot of your body heat. Wherever possible, try and avoid breathing into the bag, no matter how cold you think you are, because your breath is lots of condensation, lots of moisture, and you're trapping moisture inside the sleeping bag doesn't do you any favours, and obviously the last thing you want to do is wake up in a wet sleeping bag either, so try and avoid breathing in there. Even I cheat and have a couple of breaths just to get that initial going, but after that I try and avoid it as much as possible. I've seen a few people, and we're talking survival / bushcraft professionals, saying sleep in your sleeping bag naked, because you'll put all your body heat will go straight out into the sleeping bag, and then once it's in the sleeping bag, it's only got one place to go, and that's not back to you. I think it's a stupid idea. It's dangerous. Obviously it's the middle of summer, maybe different, but definitely wear clothes in your sleeping bag. Definitely, in the winter time I'll keep my thermal underwear on, and we'll even put extra layers of clothing on as well. I might quite often bring fleece pyjamas with me. You quite often find them for sale as fleece loungewear. But yeah, even some sweatpants will do the job. People will say avoid cotton, go for polyester. Even nylon is a synthetic cotton, so again try and avoid that. Polyester or wool is my recommendation. And keep it loose fitting as well. Obviously you're trapping more air as well. You can put an extra sleeping bag inside your sleeping bag, but again, because it's all about trapping air, make sure that you're not compressing the sleeping bag that's on the inside, because if that's just squashed flat because you don't have the room, it's a waste of time and you're just carrying something you don't need. You can buy sleep systems that are designed to have a bag in a bag in a bag. Military ones, great example. Another trick that I do, I get undressed in the sleeping bag. So what I do is I get into this sleeping bag, I'll take my trousers off, and then I'll push them all the way down to the bottom of the foot box. And that creates a larger airspace down the bottom. Obviously my feet get very cold, so I push the clothes right the way down at the bottom as the airbox. When I go to bed, another good tip, put on clean socks when you go to bed. Your feet are going to be sweating during the day in your boots, and even that dried sweat in there can reduce the effectiveness of your of the socks, especially if they're wool. I mean, I always wear wool socks when I'm out anyway because they breathe better and they're good. When they do get a bit damp, they retain heat as well. So yeah, warmer socks, clean socks on, and put some thicker wool socks on as well. Try and tuck, if you do have an extra pair of trousers or whatever, make sure you've got your bottoms tucked into the socks. Again, it will hold the heat into your legs. Always a good one. If you're really, really cold and your face is very, very cold, I recommend buying a face mask. Don't put a multi-scarf over your face or a t-shirt or something over your nose and your mouth. Again, the condensation will just freeze in front of your face, and that will cause more problems than you want. If you're not interested in the military style ones, you can buy face masks that are designed for winter sports like skiing or snowboarding. Some good face mask ones there. Make sure you can breathe easily through it and it's not going to hold in moisture onto your face. Right, let's talk about what's underneath you. At the moment I'm inside a wind shelter, so we're elevated off the ground, there's some wooden decking. But you won't often find that. You'll be out on the floor, on the ground. So what mattresses should you take? That again, it's personal preference. I'm getting old, so I like to have a bit more comfort. You do get a lot more comfort off of an air mattress than you would do off of a foam mat. But when it's very, very cold, it's good to have something underneath the mattress just to stop that cold air from the ground coming up. And we all know heat rises, but what most people think is, oh, we have lots of extra layers on top, but it's not going to stop the cold from below coming up. And that's what causes them, I think, the most discomfort. There are a few solutions for that one. My usual go-to method is an insulated picnic blanket. I also use it as a ground sheet inside the shelter as well. You've got a woven base with there's a thermal insulating layer that goes on the ground. This will go underneath the sleeping bag. And this helps. If you don't have one of these or you haven't got room to take something that large, you can buy just the mat on its own. This is very similar to those things you put on your windscreen to stop micing up. But this one, as you see, is designed for camping, so it's camping mattress size. These are about the same length and size as one of those foam bed rolls, basically. Some people will say have the shiny side up because it reflects the heat from your body. I've found it's better the other way around, with the foam up and the reflective side on the ground. I'm sure somebody can tell me why that works better. Maybe you get a bit more of an air gap, because obviously a reflective surface can only reflect radiant heat. Convected heat will go straight through it. But yeah, I prefer it upside down. And as you can see, they do pack down a lot smaller. Another method that I use is I get one of those little cheap blanket throws that you can find in all sorts of hardware stores and whatever, decoration stores, and I'll lay that underneath as well. Underneath. And you can lay it underneath as well, as if by magic. What I have found is a really good trick is to actually fold the mat blanket around the mattress as well. This traps the warm air from your body into the mattress for a little longer. I think the coldest I think I've slept is probably close to -20 degrees Celsius. 2 of these around this mattress, this air mattress, I had a wonderful night's sleep. Another method you can use is to put a fleece blanket inside your sleeping bag as well. But yeah, there are many different types of air mattresses and sleeping mats. The self-inflating ones are very large and bulky, but have a very good R value. The R value tells you how much insulation it has. So the higher the number, the higher the insulation value. I do have an air mattress that has an R value of 1, which is no insulation at all. This is an R value of allegedly 5, 4.5 to 5. You can buy air mattresses up to many $100s, pounds, euros, whatever your currencies are. So again, it's budget, but if you're trying to keep your budget down, a couple of fleece blankets will increase the R value of your sleeping mat exponentially. Or, on really nasty conditions, take an air mattress and a foam bedroll and put that underneath as well, and then have the blanket wrapped around this as well. So this has an R value of, as I said, 4.5 or 5. So when you're laying on your back, the heat from your body will get into the mattress and will warm it up, and you will feel that quite quickly. I unfortunately am a side sleeper, so it doesn't benefit that much, which is why I use blankets. Sleeping on this side, this is kind of a bit of a paradox, this one. Sleeping on your side is warmer than sleeping on your back, because when you lay on your back, your body heat has more surface area to come out, but the mattress below you will be more effective. So as I said, there's a paradox there. So sleeping on the side is another way of keeping yourself warmer than sleeping on your back. So in your sleeping bag, nice and cozy, warm. The next thing we're talking about is pillows, and they do come in a wide variety of shapes and sizes. Comfort is essential. Comfort is important for a good night's sleep, so a pillow and having your head and your neck supported is very important. They come in all shapes and sizes, from tiny ones like this, These small ultralight ones are great because they fit perfectly inside the hood of your sleeping bag. Another one I use and do enjoy using is this quilted sleeping bag. Is this quilted mattress. Another one I enjoy using is this quilted pillow as well. That's better. It is essentially something very similar to this, but it has a brushed cotton or polyester quilted top. Wind's changed, snow's coming in. The other option, of course, is this is actually a camping pillow. It's just like your normal pillow at home, filled with chopped up bits of foam, but it's very small and it can fold up into a very small little bag. So most basic or most camping pillows will be like this. There's no, it's just a soft brushed top or bottom, but what you'll find is if you put your skin directly onto this, you will sweat, and obviously a lot of the cold air from underneath will come into this pillow, and you'll have a cold face and a cold head. So this is the only time I'd recommend using that multi-scarf. So wrap this in your multi-scarf if it's not cotton. Cotton's not so bad, to be honest, for a pillow. It's comfortable and soft. Or a t-shirt, or just a layer of clothing, or a scarf or something. Something that's not going to irritate your skin when you sleep. Again, that will insulate the pillow, as mentioned, really, with the fleece blanket. Same situation, so it'll just keep you a bit more warm as well. Obviously, with your standard styles pillows, there's no point. But yeah, this one does the double job, so I like that. So a good pillow. Don't overinflate the pillows if they're an air one. Obviously, you want something that's going to support your head and neck, so don't be afraid of spending a few minutes just taking a bit of air out, putting a bit more air in, and you're finding that perfect, comfortable position, because, as I say, you want a good night's sleep, don't you? I've heard some people mention having some sugary snacks before you go to bed, because your body needs a lot of energy to digest certain types of food. Sugary snack will keep your body warm for about an hour, maybe 2, and depending on how much you've eaten, I suppose. I've prefer the other end of the scale with high protein, a salami stick, cooked sausage, something like that, or even some cooked bacon, some leftover dinner, and fat as well. Not cooking oil or vegetable oils because they're bad for you, but honest to God, natural fat. So something fatty as a supper, or a high protein fatty supper is good before you go to bed, because that takes, your body needs a lot more energy to process these proteins and fats than a biscuit, for example, which is quite common, or your Kendall mint cakes. So yeah, that's a tip. The other one is do a little bit of exercise, do some some pull-ups before you go to bed, so your body is warmer when you get into the sleeping bag, so you're kind of helping the sleeping bag warm up faster. And it's about keeping, then you can keep warm for longer. But yeah, the little protein snack before you go to bed. Another option, of course, is a nice hot drink. Go for soup over a hot chocolate. As delicious as hot chocolate is, and even I'm guilty of having a hot chocolate before I go to bed sometimes. Like minestrone soup, for example, something with a meat bouillon in there, chicken broth or beef broth or pork broth, whatever. Again, for the reasons I just mentioned. But when you're in the sleeping bag, you want to make sure you can stay in there for as long as possible. So if you do start getting a little bit cold, or you've drunk too much in the evening, the last thing you want to do is get out of your bed and go to the toilet, because you're going to lose all that heat you've trapped in the sleeping bag, and you're going to get cold by getting out of the sleeping bag as well. So, a urine bottle. This is a collapsible one. It is 3 large opening. Apparently designed for the ladies as well, with the type, the shape and the form. What should we say? Am I allowed to say ladies still? Yeah, okay. So put that in your sleeping bag, go to bed, and if you do need to urinate in the night, you don't have to get out. You can just manoeuvre yourself and wee in one of those. If you don't have one of those, any type of wide mouth bottle will do the job if you're a good aim. This is obviously a military style canteen. They usually come with a wide mouth. And obviously, for people that aren't equipped with a penis, there is a product like this, which is a urine funnel. Obviously that goes around the necessary area, and then you can funnel the urine into said bottle, and away you go. That's very useful for people that don't have the penis. Another way of keeping warm is a hot water bottle. You can even put that in the sleeping bag before you go to bed, and that will warm up the sleeping bag a lot more as well. An Nalgene style wide mouth bottle, or even a military canteen, will take hot water. Don't put boiling water in it, but don't fill it right to the top. do about halfway or 3/4 of the bottle with hot water that's not going to melt the bottle. Another method you can use if you're doing bushcrafting is some of the rocks that you may have around your fire, bring them close to the sleeping bag as well. And if they're not too hot, you could, if you're brave enough, put one in the sleeping bag. I've never done it just because it's annoying, because a rock in your sleeping bag can be a little bit uncomfortable at times if you forget it's there. But you can line them? You can line them along the side of your sleeping bag and sleeping mats, whatever. If you've got a fire in front of you, put the rocks the other side, behind you. Those chemical foot warmers, chemical foot and hand warmers, they can be used as well. They quite often say up to 8 hours of warmth. I've never found one that's lasted that long. They stick to a sock. They'll at least keep you going into the start of the night. The hand warmers as well. That reminds me, even those charcoal hand warmers, they will go for a good 8 hours. And one of those inside your sleeping bag, they're wonderful to use. You'll get some heat from them, you can put them when you need them. If you are starting to feel very, very cold, put them between your thighs. You've got some major arteries that run all the blood down to your feet and then back up to the rest of your body. So if you put them in there, it'll help warm up the blood as it's circulating through your body. And obviously move it around onto your hands. I wear fingerless gloves in bed. You can wear small cotton, thin cotton gloves if you prefer. It's just reducing any heat loss as much as possible. If you can increase your warmth for value of your sleeping bag. We've all seen these emergency mylar blankets. I carry one in my bushcraft pouch all the time because you never know when you're going to need it. If you open one of these up, lay it in the sleeping bag on top of you. Don't wrap it around you completely, because if you create a thermal, a vapour barrier around yourself, you're only going to sweat and your moisture from your body's got nowhere to go. So just lay it on top of you, even if you have to fold it in half a bit, but so it's on top of you. If you're on your side, obviously on your side. These emergency sleeping bag bivvies are another cheap option. I mean, you find these in dollar stores, they're that cheap, even the ultra thin ones. But the emergency sleeping bag quite often are mylar as well. So you can use that as a bivvy, so put your whole sleep system in there, your mattress, your sleeping bag, and you will go inside this. Don't scrunch it up around your neck, because you're creating a vapour barrier then, and the moisture from your body's got nowhere to go, and you'll end up with a soaking wet sleeping bag, and you'll end up freezing to death. So I've mentioned it before. Fleecy blankets. They don't cost very much, and they will increase the rating of your sleeping bag quite a lot. You'll get an extra 5 degrees Celsius out of just one blanket. This is a cheaper option than buying a sleeping bag liner. You can get silk liners and even fleece ones like this, but they can be quite expensive. But you'll find a fleece blanket under your mattress or even in your sleeping bag will make a world of difference. We've done the hot water bottle thing, we've done the hot rocks thing. Yeah, a good fleece / woolly hat. Make sure it's a beanie, not a bobble hat or something that folds over and it's all got a thick lip around the top, because it keeps your head more comfortable, because there's no seams to get in the way. If you can get a merino wool hat, highly recommend it. If not, Thinsulate fleece wool hat, which is what I'm wearing now. Sorry, well, Thinsulate fleece hat. This is synthetic polyester on the outside. Again, it keeps your head warm. I've mentioned the face mask. Huge difference. A face mask makes a huge difference. It really does. It makes me smile because the only thing that's cold in the night is your eyes. It's in your eyelids. The only thing that's cold, and you can handle that. Yeah. So that's how I keep warm in the snowy winter times. Thank you for watching. If you found it useful, give me a thumbs up. If you think it was a waste of time, give me a thumbs down. I don't really mind. I'm not in this for the glory. I'm just trying to share some information really and entertain you folk. So thanks again for watching. I'm now going to try and pack all this away and get myself a hot drink. Take care. I'll see you on the next one.